Oh, it's good to be live once again on the clinic with Oluwatosin Oladimeji Ladipo. It's always a pleasure every Sunday. And I'm sure most of our viewers must have been coming because it's past 6 already. Anyway, 6 minutes past 6, like usual. I'm very sorry about that. Yes, like I said, hello, my viewers. We are in different parts of life, like all has always been. I hope you're keeping safe. Like you all know that my name is Oluwatosin Oladimeji Ladipo, and that is what we want to continue this week, but in a different ways. Why? I want to tell you, do you know the topic we are discussing is been posted on our different social media platform? Is about the father's perspective on the raising of a girl child. The father's perspective on raising of a girl child. That is what we'll be discussing this evening. Now, not to wait too much of our time, because I know a lot of people are busy with different things, but because of the love they have for us, they've always come online. And even if they miss it, anytime they miss, they have a way of going back to watch it again. And I sincerely want to say a big thank you to all of you. Like I said, I do not want to waste too much of our time this evening. And the topic, like I've told you, that I'll be treating is a father's perspective of raising of a girl child. And I would like to introduce our guests to you. Like always, you know, our guests are always fantastic. And this evening guest is not also left out. He's also a very fantastic person. Please. Of our guests to you this evening. Yes. Our guest is Mr. Kolade Dada. He is the managing director of Seedco Group in Nigeria, a joint venture seed company between Seedco West Africa Limited and Saro Agrosciences Nigeria Limited. Proud that he had spent well over a decade between Saro Agroscience and Saro Life Care Limited in the capacity of head of business, head of sales, brand manager, and head of marketing. A graduate of agronomy and pedology from the University of Ilorin, Kwara State, Nigeria. He is also an alumnus of Lagos Business School and Atlantic University School. That is who our guest is this evening. Well, he also said, I'm a pastor, and I know he's also a pastor anyway, and he's married with 2 children. Yes, he's a married man with 2 children. That is who our guest this evening is. And wherever our viewers are, please join me to welcome our guest for this evening in person of Mr. Kolade Dada. Mr. Kolade, you're welcome this evening. And how are you? Hello, Mr. Kolade. I'm sure your network is freezing. If you can hear us. Hello, Mr. Kolade. I said, how are you this evening?
I'm fine. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I'm excited to be on the clinic this evening. Thank you.
All right. It's nice having you. It's just that I don't know where you are. It's getting dark. It's now getting dark. It's getting dark. I really love to see your face. Really.
Okay. We'll try and see what we can do as time progresses. I think as the emission outside goes down, the inside should be able to lighten up better.
All right, no problem then. Would you like to tell us more about you? What you think we should know about you?
Okay, you mentioned my name, and you've also mentioned some of the things that I currently do. So, but more importantly, I'm still a young man, a young father of 2 lovely children, and by God's grace too, I also pastor a church. Okay, and it's been an interesting time being a father, especially in this VUCA world. We call it a VUCA world, you know. So it also has impacts on society. It also impacts on the family. So it's been interesting. And I think we should leave it at that. I think as the program unfolds, we'll be able to get to know more about me. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Kolade Dada. Like you rightly said when we started, that the topic we'll be treating this evening is father's perspective of raising a girl child. That is what we'll be discussing this evening. And we just said, and you also said it, that you're a father of two. You also have a girl child as well. So we'll
Yeah.
be talking from a practical aspect, not just head knowledge, from the practical aspect of it. Now, what is your own view about? Okay, let me ask the first question before I put it to you.
From a
That
practical
does
perspective.
a girl? Yes, exactly. Does a girl child really need a father while growing? Hello, Mr. Kolade. Your network. Hello, Mr. Kolade. I'm sorry, our viewers. I think his network is so bad wherever he is. I just don't know. But if you can hear me,
Just hold on a
or
minute.
probably,
Let me I can switch this network again.
okay,
Just a minute. I think.
okay. Sorry, our viewers. He's trying to change his
Okay, I
network. You
think
know,
this is better. All right, I think it's better.
all right.
Good.
Yeah, it's better now. So we asked the question that does a girl child really need a father while growing?
Yeah, I
That's the
think
question.
the answer to that question is yes. But going beyond yes, it's also because every child deserves to have both parents available, whether a boy child or a girl child. And
Exactly.
the reason is not far fetched because when you have both parents, especially the father, it provides balance for the children, and more importantly for the girl child, because you are not just being a father, you are also, subliminally creating a kind of image on how the new man should actually behave. So the father provides that perspective. So I think it's important. And I know in families that maybe a single father, a single mother, at the end of the day, you see the impact in the life of those children. Okay, because the father is also mentoring the girl child, like I said earlier. And if this is missing, it's going to be a bit difficult. So the role of the father, the role of the mother can't be overemphasized really. You need both to provide the right balance for the child, especially the girl child.
Hmm. Thank you so much, Mr. Kolade. And that will take us to our next question. What kind of relationship do you think should be between a father and the girl child? The kind of relationship that should be between both parents, both as in between the father and the girl child.
And the girl child. That's interesting. Okay, because my girl will be 6 this year. Okay,
Wow.
and so at least I know that apart from being a father, you are also a friend. It's very important. So the first thing is being a father, or beyond being a father, you're also a friend. And beyond being a friend, being a friend means that it becomes like a close confidant. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
your daughter should have you should have an open door policy with your daughter, such that at any point in time they can disrupt you and ask you questions. It's important. Okay, because at this age they are quite inquisitive, they ask a lot of questions. So one of relationships also being a teacher. You also provide answers, provide perspective. And the last 2 3 years have shown that the children of nowadays they kind of develop faster in terms of their thinking. My little boy today, just an aside, was talking about a lava. I was asking his mom, so when did you get to know about a lava? So lava, I got to know it, when I was doing geography in secondary school. But see, boy, already just 3 or 4 years, 4 years old boy, talking about a lava. So, so there are things before you think that they may not be able to comprehend. They ask you questions and the first reaction would be to just wish it away. What kind of question is that? You're asking a question above your. No, because they require answers and you don't give them
Hmm.
that answer, you don't teach them rightly, sorry, they will get that response and may not be a right response from the outside community. So the father's role, relationship, apart from being a father, is also as a friend, so that the daughter can open up to you and tell you many thyou know. An incident happened quite recently. My daughter was talking about a girl in her class that has a boyfriend, and I was like, "Wait a minute, what's going on there?" Okay, so I'm sure she would have said that to her mom, and her mom would have said, "Shut up! Don't say that." But when you engage them as a friend, they open up more. And I was, oh, sorry, these things is you can't get married to people until of a certain age, things and they ask all these questions. So apart from being a father, you are a friend, you're also a teacher. And it's important the father must be able to balance this quite well so that one does not really overshadows the other. You can be a father and lose a daughter as a friend. You can be a friend and not be able to ensure the right discipline is in place. So those things are important. And as your daughters keep asking questions, it also builds on you as a father to develop yourself to be able to manage a situation as things arises. Thank you.
Hmm. Thank you so much. I'm actually getting some things from you. You said the kind of relationship that should be between a father and a girl child is, aside of him being a father, he must also be a confidant. That means he must be a friend and being a teacher. And for you to be a teacher, must you be friendly? I'm just thinking between the two. That means the father is really taking his time
Yeah,
to really, and in fact, being a teacher, because a teacher should teach the child to be,
yeah.
disciplined. Do you understand? And now
But
you are a friend.
can I
A
also say
friend.
something?
Okay.
It's interesting for us to know that most of the subject we loved in secondary school and primary school that we did so well was because we liked those teachers.
Exactly.
You understand? So our
Exactly.
minds get opened up to be able to receive. It's very important because you can be a teacher just dishing it out. At the end of the day, your girls just listen, but it doesn't. She hears you, but she doesn't really listen because her heart is closed. You understand? Oh, there are times I discipline her. So it's a fine balance, like I said. You discipline her and go to your room, time out. She doesn't like that. She may be there for 30 minutes, 40 minutes. So later on, we get to meet again and she's frowning. Oh, my friend, come in. She's frowning. I just discipline her as a father. But now as a teacher, as a friend, I need to now be, what you did that time, what's wrong, this and that, and we settle it. So it's very important that as a male child, as a male parent, you must not just be a father, you must also be a friend, together being a teacher of your daughter.
Hmm. That means you should know how to balance the different roles together. That's a
Yeah,
very good one. Thank you very much, Mr. Kaladi. Now, our
welcome.
next question to you is: should a father role to a girl child be different from a mother's role?
Okay. So I will share some perspectives here, really. So
Okay.
first is that we have the same objective, both the father and the mother. So we're in the same
Okay.
boat, pursuing the same thing. So that means we are really looking at being complementing one another. So it's complementary. Okay, and that means that we are not pulling across purposes. It's important. So between the father and the mother, there has to be a serious sense of collaboration. Okay, between the two of them. And collaboration in the sense that each of them must understand what their role is in bringing up their child. And at that point, there must be serious alignment, between the father and the mother. So, that has to be settled first. Because if that is not settled, you discover that the two parents are at cross purposes. And it will have serious impact on the girl child or the male child. Okay,
Hmm.
so there has to be collaboration, one. And for me too, I see the father role as being a team lead. Things like being the head of the family has been overflowed, share a bit of a different perspective, really. I call the man of the house the team lead because it's a delegated authority. Okay, being a delegated authority means that you must be able to set direction. Though you are the team lead, you still set the direction. And in setting direction, you ensure that the mother also gets the buy-in. Because anywhere there's a bit of gap, children are very smart. When they know
Very,
that
very.
there's a lacuna here, what happens is that they pander to one that favors them the most. So if they know that, oh, that one doesn't agree on this thing, what happens? They just, there's a lot of issues that will go on under the table. So the father provides that leader, he sets the tone. He sets the tone, which is leadership, provides that leadership, and ensures there's buy-in for everybody. And it's also important that everybody is carried along to see that we're in the same boat. We are trying to achieve the same objective. So for the mother, basically you're a contributor, and my house is a bit funny because we try to do things a bit in a democratic way, not that we vote. But first and foremost is that clarity. There must be that shared understanding. The mother must understand why we're doing it this way. Because when we understand from that place of common departure, it becomes easier. So we are not across purposes. We are actually doing the same thing. Now, the way we interpret that role is a bit different. So I've noticed, maybe based on my own disposition, children tend to gravitate more towards me. So that means they tend to say things that maybe their mom may not even be aware. Okay. So it's now, how do we bring that in? Oh, mommy, she said this, how do we now manage it? So that's based on my own disposition. So how we interpret that role may be different, but at the end of the day, is to achieve that singular objective.
Come on, go.
Yeah.
That's a very good one, Mr. Kolade. I'm learning too. Sincerely, I'm learning. Having one objective, having one goal, but the way you both interpret the role might be different from each other. But at least the
Yeah.
focus is having one objective, having a
Yeah.
focus, having one goal. And that's a
Yeah.
very good one because children are indeed smart. I remember there was one time on this program that we invited someone, Pastor Funta Augusto, and she said something that children, that the only way we can win these children over is when there is one voice, one goal. That means if the parents are speaking in one voice, one language, and yet it's not that, okay, let me use the example she used. Probably the child came from school and reported a teacher that, mommy, daddy, this is what my teacher did. Do you understand? And you,
Yeah.
in return, going back to school to fight probably the teacher, that it will not help such a child because
Mm-hmm.
she is a teacher. She was just talking from the aspect of a teacher
From
and
being a
from the
teacher.
aspect of a mother and a grandmom.
Mm-hmm.
That was the aspect she was speaking from. She now said, so what I think parents should do is when a child comes home from school and reports a teacher to you, what you should do as a parent is, what did you do? Correct the child and see from the child's angles. Even if the teacher is wrong, don't let the child see it as if, because when all of you are speaking different languages, automatically there'll be an escape route for that child. But when the child sees that the teacher, the mother, the father, everybody around him or her are speaking one language, there is no escape route. That was the
Yeah.
message that day. And that was
Very
the word
clear.
she used, no escape route. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. And like Mr.
Welcome,
Kolade
ma'am.
has rightly said once again, that the way they both interpret the vision might be different, but at least have one focus, one goal, that this is what we want to do. And the child will do well. Thank you so much, Mr. Kolade. Now,
You're
our
welcome.
next question to you is, how do you think fathers influence their daughters' behavior?
Hmm. That's a very deep one. All right, it's been established clearly that children learn more from observation. Okay, and that means probably when they come in as a little child or as a baby, there is no bias at all. It's like a blank check. It's a clean slate, nothing imputed, no biases. So at the end of the day, a child outcome, maybe who a child becomes later in future, is a function of who the person has interacted with, a function of who brought up that person. And that's why we say that it's important who fathers you, who mentors you is very important. All right, so I think to look at that question critically, it's clear that because we already know that a child learn more from observation, from what you do. So for you to, if you want to influence your children, your daughter in a very positive way, then you must also be an embodiment of positivity. Okay,
Hmm.
so the first thing is that you must be intentional that I want to be a good influence on my
Hmm.
daughter. You must be very intentional. Because let me be frank, most daughters will not like their dad, but they end up marrying people like their dad. Daughters that also like their dad, they also marry someone that looks like their dad. I
Mm.
mean, that has the same kind of virtues like that. Okay, so because at that at that very small age, a lot of things happens. A lot of things are being built into their mind, which may determine who they become in future. So you must be intentional about the kind of influence you want to have on your children. That's one. Number two is also to be able to strike a balance between being a friend and being a disciplinarian. So discipline is important because in life, people that are not disciplined will not end up achieving it. So even you as a father must be disciplined. So I remember one day I was looking at my daughter's report card, good on the what's it called, on all the core subjects. Then when they got to psychographics, oh, she comes late to school. Okay, she scored very well on that. And I was like, wait a minute, what's going on there? So she doesn't go to school by herself. We take her to school. So, but if I didn't step in at that point in time to say, wait a minute, this girl must get to school on time, she will begin to interpret it that late coming is a
Of
normal thing
course.
because you see, they finish assembly, I just walk into class and so but we're able to do that. So wait a minute, if this girl must be in school on time, we as parents must ensure that we get to that school on time to deliver for whatever reason. Okay, so strike that balance between being a disciplinarian because you can't be too harsh. When you're too harsh, what happens is that your child sees that you are coming and they go through the other way. You can't influence them that way. You're also influencing them anyway because daddy, you don't talk to daddy. Your that is a difficult person. He doesn't even hear you. You understand? So you also learn how to listen. So, nowadays I hear my daughter telling me, oh, daddy, you're not listening to me. And anytime I hear that, I say, wait a minute, what exactly are you saying? Because we can get distracted by many things. She's talking to me, I'm pressing my phone, I'm checking what's the update on the Premier League, Premiership, what's going on, who has scored, and she's telling me, Daddy, you're not listening to me. And I'm like, oh, I'm very sorry. You know what? I'm sorry. Can you just repeat what you just said? So, and she knows that she can always call my attention at any point in time so that I can also listen to her. Now, recognition is also very important. These are things that validates good behavior. When you see a behavior you don't like, provides discipline with love. When you see a behavior that is right, reinforce it. It's very important. And people will say, "Oh, my daughter is not good." Is that wait a minute? It can't be that. She didn't learn these things, but she didn't bring this thing down from heaven. It
Mm.
was what our parents or our mentors has deposited into her. So, but when you see anything that is good, you need to find a way of reinforcing it through compliment. Oh, you did very well. Oh, small thing as a hairdo. She's just going to be 6 this year. But when she has done a very good hairstyle, you say, oh, Toda, you look so nice. You can see she's so happy. That validates it. And if she grows up and somebody tell her she's not pretty, you say, wait a minute, what are you talking about? I know. And that builds serious confidence in her that, I know that I'm beautiful. Nobody can say anything contrary to that. Okay? And the last one I would say here is that, parents sometimes we try to say, oh, we must always be right. There are times you are wrong. Okay? You may have disciplined a girl without the right information. You thought the information were complete, but really wasn't. Okay, and in such scenario, you need to be bold enough and be humble enough to even tell her as little as she is and tell her, you know what, I'm very sorry. All these things, at the end of the day, they are shaping the future of this girl. So it's not just one thing, but first thing you must be intentional. And when you're
Mm.
intentional about it, every other thing flows down. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kolade. I was just keeping quiet, looking at you with everything you've been saying. Thank you so much. I gained some things from you. That's number one. Aside, before you said intentional, the first thing you said I got from you was that parents should be embodiments of posi, what did he say? Positivity. Yes,
Positivity, yes.
yes, that they should be. Then number two, they should be intentional. They should be able to validate their children's character because these children want it. Number three, you should Appreciate, yes, learn
Yeah,
to
appreciate.
appreciate them
Yeah,
at least. In fact, I'm learning to. I just want to, a little comment with what you said. I remember sometimes something happened. It was an homework from my son's school. And the next thing, of course, his pronunciation is different from mine. He has this British accent. Mine is not a British accent. And there is a way he pronounces things that sometimes I have to listen well to really, sincerely, to really understand what he's saying. So when the way my son pronounced into and to, that's INTO and TO, two different ways entirely. But I thought he was saying the wrong thing. In fact, the way I was talking that day, what is it? You should be able to know this. You should be this, at the end of it, at the end of it, he now told me, said, Mommy, this is the right thing. You're the one that is wrong. I now looked at it. I said, okay, come. What are you saying? Let me understand you. By the time he said this when I listened carefully, I knew I was wrong. But I was already shouting. I was already shouting. Now the boy felt bad. Do you understand? He felt bad. He was trying to withdraw himself from me. So by the time I listened well, called him back, I had to tell him that, Moyola, please, I'm very sorry. To
that's,
tell you. I said, I'm very sorry. Then a smile now came, radiated on
yeah,
his face.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, oh, then I hugged him. No, with that, I like, oh, because I appreciate when people tell me Tosin sorry too. So if I can tell him and he's really appreciating it, so why wouldn't we do that? Don't always feel that, oh, I'm the mother. Not that when we grew up, anything mommy says is fine now. Anything daddy says is fine now. We should
Yeah,
learn to listen to these children
yes, very
because their
important.
opinion too matters. Thank
It
you so
matters.
much,
Yeah,
Mr. Kolade. Thank you.
you're welcome, ma.
Thank you. And our next question to you is, what role do father play in shaping their daughter's self-esteem?
Hmm. Okay, so we've already said the father's role apart from providing leadership, is a teacher, is also a friend. And from our conversation up to now, one thing that is also coming out is that leadership must be authentic.
Mm,
When you are wrong, admit it you are wrong. It's interesting for us to know that most of these girls sees us as a superhero. My daughter, for once,
mm.
believes that I'm the strongest person. Oh, my daddy will beat you. My daddy will do this. My daddy will do that. Oh, my daddy. So something happened maybe a few days ago. I should come back. I said, I can't carry you to. It's so authenticity is important because
Mm,
we don't want our children to keep on saying, oh, my dad is perfect, whereas really, you're not perfect. Being authentic will help you to know when you need to apologize. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed it. And to your question, how do you ensure that they have a very good self-esteem? Is how we also mentor them that matters. So for people to have self-esteem, that means they must have confidence first and foremost in themselves. It's good to validate, but first and foremost, there must be that intrinsic validation within them. And that comes from repetition of your actions.
mm,
Because you can't just build confidence in a day. You understand? You can't
mm,
just build it. And it comes from little, little things. When you see them good at something, even though they are not so fantastic, encourage them a bit. Oh, you did so well, fantastic. Oh, you can only just tweak it here and there, and you are good to go. Oh, they said you don't know mathematics. It's a lie. You know mathematics. I trust you. You understand? Yeah, do this, do that. And when they do it, and it's not like, oh, because I know it was because I only guided you. You knew these things. You understand? So it comes from those little actions of validation. You know, even when you discipline them, still find a way of commending them on whatever good they've done. And when they've done wrong, don't throw them away. Don't throw them under the
mm,
bus. Don't look
mm,
at, in 24 hours, you've only been causing problem, you are disturbing me. No, 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 no. Sometimes you need to find a way of finding something good out of the whole bad things. Uh, some times ago, my daughter, she still struggles with bedwetting. Okay, I'm sure maybe in the next 20 years she'll come after me. Okay. And so our mom said, because of this issue, you'll be sleeping on the bed. So, it kept on going. So our brother would sleep on the bed with us. her room. She won't sleep in her room. She sleep on the mat. But the one that just woke up, I said, wait a minute. Girl, you are not a bedwetter. Hope you know that. He said, yes. I said, the problem is that you take so much water in the night. I want her to hone the process. You know what? Take your dinner early and stop taking so much water. So in the morning, she wakes up like, oh, daddy, I didn't bed well today. I told her, mom, you know what? Upgrade that. She needs to start sleeping on the bed. Why? Because maybe growing up they would have also asked us to sleep on the mat, those things in a way as a way of affecting our self-esteem.
Hmm.
So I said, you know what, upgrade that. Let's provide the science to help her. So, mother, you don't take water when it's nighttime. Just go and sleep early. So if I'm around, I'll wake you up by 12. You will wee, and I can assure you won't be bedwetting again. And she had the run consistently of not bedwetting. And she was telling me on the phone, Daddy, I didn't bedwet. I said, fantastic. I know you can do it. So those little things, they matter. Oh, she just did a hair. She just have a new hairdo on. Find a way of complimenting her. Don't just keep the compliment to your wife alone. It matters. So those little things are very important. In the public, don't find a way of not chastising her in the midst of her friends. Like my girl, for example, when you look at her psychographic this thing in leadership, she's always very high in leadership. Why? Because if she has a group of 10 friends, you will know she will, in terms of being vocal, setting direction for them, she will. But one way we can rubbish that self-esteem is to rubbish her in front of her friends. You have killed that girl child. So you
That's
can
true.
discipline her at home. So, but that's actually very important for me.
Hmm. Hmm. That's a good one. And another thing that came to my mind was our last contribution before this question, that by learning to say sorry to your children, because when they do anything that is right, and probably you never knew you were the one that was wrong. Do you understand? So by the
Yeah,
time, of course, they knew that what they did was right, and you are like, what is this? So by the time you go back to them to say sorry, it builds up their confidence somehow. It builds up
yeah,
their confidence. That means I actually know this thing. It's mommy that was his mommy
yeah,
was wrong.
yes,
Yeah, it builds up their confidence. That's a good one. Thank you so much, Mr. Kolade Dada. Now, our next question to you is, how can fathers show their daughters how women should be treated?
yeah. Okay, before I delve into this, one thing that came to my mind in the last question was also it's good that we as parents must also allow our children to speak up. Let them speak out.
Okay?
Listen to their opinion. Let them know. Little child, it matters. Their opinions matters. And I think it builds confidence. That confidence is built in out over time. You can also express it. Now, this question, how do we ensure that parent and the father does what? The father,
How can fathers show their daughters how women should be treated?
ah, that's so first, people learn by observation. It's still very important, especially for these girls. And how you treat your wife matters. It speaks a lot. And if they know some things their father will never do, they won't also take that from any male man in the future. They will not. If, for example, they know that their mom can provoke dad and yet dad still keeps his peace, dad never raises his hand or his voice on their mom, they know that if anybody is trying to do that, it is wrong, and they will find a way of resisting it because it's already built into their subconscious that this is how a man is expected to treat a woman. It's important. Okay? And though I really don't want to give to stereotyping people, but how you treat their mom is important. How you also treat other women around is important so that they come to take it as an acceptable standard or norm. Okay? And the way how you also keep your word. So I remember when I wanted to marry my wife, I visited one of our uncles, so to speak. And so we're talking, and he said, okay, so we want to get married to our daughter, this and that. So yes, sir. I was acting like a gentleman so that they don't take the woman away from me. So the man has said, "So are you ready for this? Beating wives, this and that." And I was like, it's not even raising your hand first, even raising your voice. It means there's a disconnect. So because people don't just raise up their hand to beat anybody, you see a gradual increase in aggression until it just escalates and becomes that. So how you speak to other women around, how you treat people that don't really have so much, that may not have so much impact. Maybe the fruit seller around, the person selling tomato, how you treat them, it shapes them to know that, see, there is a minimum standard that should accept from the male folk. Is important. So, and aside that too, there's also that opportunity too. You also interact with them. Like I said, you're not just their father, you are their you are their friend. So how you also interact with them, how you engage them also matters. Because they've seen the way you respond to their mom. Now they also seen the way you engage with them. It shapes their thinking, it shapes everything about them. So wait a minute. This should be like the minimum standard, acceptable from from a male folk. So what you say, what you do, how you treat others around, they are very important in ensuring that this happens. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kolade. I want to ask you another question. It's not one of the questions that has been written down. There's something that just came to me now. I guess for last week, we were discussing recently, and she said some things that are heart touching. And I sincerely want to ask you, how do you think children, or father, let me say, what will you teach, or how will you teach your girl child how to recognize red flags from the male? Do you understand? From their opposite sex outside? How will you teach them, for them to recognize the red flags and how to really avoid it? What to do and what not to do? That's the question.
Okay, it can be exhaustive in that sense, but basically for me is a girl child or any child, as it were, is like a building block in a way.
Okay.
So if you build rightly, if later she sees something that is out of alignment, she knows that this thing was not part of what my father built or I've seen my father build. Okay, that's one. Number two is also that, to really get into the heart of a girl child, you can't just be a father, you must also be like a confidant to that girl. And being a confidant means there are things that she may not be able to tell any other person, but she'll come to you and tell you. Okay? And there and then you are providing the right perspective. So, no, what that person did was wrong. These are the right things that you need to do. Okay? And because it's like a building block, at that little age, you're already building. Okay, for example, my girl child, I will tell her, so that you don't sit on anybody's lap. Said, okay, sir. She will come and sit on my. I said, even me,
Hmm.
you don't sit on my lap. You understand? And she may say, why? I said, because our understanding is not yet at that level. And I'll just say, just take that now. You cannot sit on any person's lap. And I made myself as an example so that she's also not making other uncles around as an exception. You understand? And little things like when she's having a bath, you tell her, wash your bum yourself. Don't allow anybody to touch it. It's important. And there are some things that also so that you also tell people you need to come home on time. You need to declare wherever you are going. They may not understand that depth now, but most importantly is they also see their mom. They go out a lot with their mom, so they also see the time they come back, but they know that staying out late is wrong. But it's a gradual process, as lines upon lines, precept upon precept, as they are evolving. You are there with them as they bring those. You also need to be proactive, and I think for most parents today, we are wrongly equipped. We need to upgrade our knowledge. It's very
Hmm.
important. Is see the way we were trained. I don't think we suffice for this current age. We need to upgrade because what they say is is their thinking is like this. So
Hmm.
some of us we are also not well equipped. We need to equip ourselves to be able to understand the peculiar challenge of this current generation so that your girl child is not tutored by somebody outside. You are providing the right perspective. And, as the father of the house, you are not just being a provider of money, you're also nurturing. You are providing emotional, from that emotional angle, you are providing from that mental perspective. Apart from finances, you're also providing that. And you're also letting them know that nothing goes for nothing.
Hmm.
You don't collect gifts because there will always be a payback time. So
Definitely.
even apart from because like I said, the world has gone a while. So it's not even the male child, it's not even the male counterpart now. What about young girls being initiated into lesbianism at a very young age? So
Hmm.
it's things have evolved. So that's why I say even parents must re-equip themselves to understand the current time we have and be able to
Hmm.
address it like that. But you must be their friend. You can't afford it. If you want to be a disciplinarian, you will lose your child. I was discussing with a senior friend recently, and he said something. He said, "My first son, do you know, I lost him. Not that I lost him physically, but I just discovered that this boy stopped confiding in him. And because there's a way he was brought up, whatever your father says, you must obey. So when the boy comes up with this idea, the father will say, no, 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 that can't work. And what happened? This boy withdrew. He stopped taking issues to his father. And over time, discovered that pattern that, no, I've lost this boy. So now what he does is listen. He doesn't instruct now. What he does is guide and provide guidance. Okay, you need to do it this way. What you're also saying is correct, but just balance it. And he was able to regain back his son. So parent must upgrade. It's important. Yeah, there's no going back about that. We must upgrade. It's critical.
Hmm. Thank you so much, Mr. Kolade. Sincerely, I personally have gained a lot from today's program. I've really gained a lot. And like my culture is always, always go back to watch and watch and watch again because I don't want to be like someone who is teaching others,
Mm.
providing for others and I'm left behind. No, I have developed that culture of always going back to watch and watch again. And you said something that really touched me now. Parents should upgrade. I'm a very creative person, really, but the way you said it, maybe it's the way you said it that really like that's my art. I was like, so saying no, sincerely, because something, let me say two instances. After the two instances, then I will ask you the last question, and that is where we will call it a date finally. Something, two experiences I had with my son. One, they gave him a book from school for him to read. And I don't know the kind of brain that boy has. Sincerely, I just
Mm.
don't know. I
Mhm.
sincerely don't know. He has a way of thinking. His thinking is that of, even the teachers have said that he has the brain. So they gave him a book, Six in a Bed. Six in a Bed. That was the title of the book. And by the time we were going through the book together, for every page, that is, okay, this is the father, no, one, two, three, to the last page. We now saw six in a bed. I said, Morala, let's count one, two, three, four, five, six. Six in a bed. My son did not say anything. I said, won't you talk anything now? Talk, because we are taking your book back to school. He said, Mommy, it's not six in a bed, it's eight. I thought he was joking. Or probably this guy just wants to like, Mommy, go away. I said, come here. It's six in a bed. Can't you see the title? Didn't you? He said, Mommy, it's not six in a bed, it's eight. I said, okay. Explain to me. How come you got your own? Where did you get your age from? That's me. I did not understand. He said, Mommy, five people, one, two, three, four, five. After counting the five people, plus the dog making six. Do you understand? Making
Yeah.
six in a bed. So my son now said, Mommy is not six. What of the cat? If you will count
Mm.
the dog, what of the cat? Because cat was actually there too with a
Mhm.
bear.
Mhm.
Cat was there with a bear. So plus the cat and the bear, plus the six, five people and the dog, making
Yeah.
eight people.
It's
But they did not include the cat and the bear. They only
Mm.
included the dog, which is part of the family. So my
Yeah.
son disagreed. He said, Mommy, I'm not agreeing to it. It's 8 in the bed, not 6. I had to put it there in his book. I put it that well, it's true. I wrote it. I said, but Weola disagrees that it's 6 in the bed is 8. And I got to school. I told the teacher that my son said it's not 6, it's 8. So they now looked and said, plus the cat. The teacher had to tell me that he is actually right, that they never saw it that way, that the
Wow.
boy is thinking out of the box.
Yeah.
Which you understand? That is the kind
Good.
of brain, that is the kind of life they live now. And the second thing, I said, if this boy can think ahead, why will I not take my time to really? Because if I'm not thinking the way he's thinking, I might
Yeah.
lose him, and God will help me not to lose him. Because his brain is too. Then the second, he said, Mommy, go and upgrade. Somebody just wrote something. I said, Mommy, please go and upgrade. Thank you. Don't worry. Our guest for today has already told us that we should go and upgrade. I will definitely upgrade. Yes. Because somebody just puts our own observation now. And the next thing I want to say is my son clocked 5 on Friday, this last Friday. We are planning to take things to the school and all that. I'll put some party pack down. Before I knew it, he asked me, he said, Mommy, can I have a drink from it? I said, No, you cannot have it. He said, Okay, Mommy, it's on my birthday. I said, Yes, it's for your birthday. Before I knew it, his dad came and said, Can I take one out of it? I said, No, but I saw he really wanted to. My husband really wanted to. I said, Okay, don't worry, take if you want to take. When he took it and drank it, my son got angry. He started
Mhm.
crying. He started crying because I told him not to take, and I asked him, but I didn't know why he was crying. He started crying. And I called him. I said, Why are you crying? He could not talk. His father was like, Why are you crying? He did not say. I said, Okay, go to your room and lie down there. If you refuse to talk, just go. By the time he now came back, now hugged me. I said, Mommy. I said, what happened? He said, Daddy drank my party pack for my birthday. You did not allow me to drink it. And I looked,
Mhm.
I said, this boy is actually correct. If
Yeah.
I ask him not to do, so why will
Mhm.
I allow somebody else to do? What is
Yeah. Yeah.
applicable to him is applicable to others. Do you understand?
Yes.
So those are the things I have really learned from what you said, that we should upgrade, because
Yeah.
things is not the way it used to be. And I'm
Yeah.
really, that's why I said maybe the way you spoke, you said it that really, and somebody even put there, Mommy, please go and upgrade. Thank you so much, Kiki Oworiade. I will. God will help all of us too. I will.
Amen.
Thank you so much. And our last question to our guest this evening is what's okay? Two more questions. The second to the two more questions. Your experience, which you said virtually everything, but we still want to know your own experience about raising of a girl child. Is it something that you love to do over and over and over again? Or is something that when you come to this world again, tell yourself, no, 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 I do not want a girl child. I just want to be on my own. What do you think?
Yeah. Is I think even though I don't plan giving birth to another child, but
Okay.
a girl child is a special child really, and that's not to demean the boy child. Okay, because they occupy maybe a place in their father's heart. Okay, and I was sharing with my wife, was it yesterday? I said, we have this uncle that had four three sons, and he said that was the end. That was not going to be that any child. So the wife got pregnant, and the man was visibly angry, very angry. They tried to pacify him, no way. But the woman gave birth to a girl child. And I said, amongst all his children, the girl child occupies this place. Because see, no matter how muscular you are, no matter how big you are, a girl child has a way of, just crawling into your heart, and you know, it's a very interesting experience, really. So there have been challenges. There are times you have to be tough, you understand, and you'll be wondering why is daddy being tough. Yes. And there are times, you are tough, yet you still need to find a way of explaining and balancing it. So there's that balance. Actually, it's important. And like I said, I don't want to give out another child. That's my plan. But it's a good experience, really. Because I also look at it from this point that, see, is an opportunity to mentor others. Because if she's well mentored, she won't choose wrongly. It's very
Hmm.
important. It's important. So, and I see that as a very big opportunity, really. Okay. So,
Hmm.
for me.
That's a good one. So when I want to choose to come back to this one again, I will choose to be a girl too, because like somebody said, it's a good experience to have girl child, and we are
Yeah.
proud to be girl. We are proud, all of us that are watching. We are proud to be girl's child. Thank you so much. And somebody said something. This is Esther Sampson Ukeria. She was actually yapping me. She said, "Mommy, you cheated. You cheated now. You gave daddy a nothing." Thank you. Thank you. Of course, we've corrected that, and I was able to even tell him sorry, and a smile came back to his face. Thank you so much. Sometimes, like our guest said, we should learn to know when we are going the wrong path and learn to come back to say sorry to these children. It has a way of boosting their ego, their confidence, their self-esteem, and that is what I was able to do. And our last question to our guest this evening, before we finally call it a date, is what advice would you like to give to parents in general?
Mm. For parents, that's a difficult one, but what really comes to my mind is parents must learn to calm down.
Hmm.
It's important. That word then is therapeutic. Just what? Calm down. Okay? Because
Hmm.
what you see may not be all that it is to it. Okay? And we should learn to use more of inquiry, inquisitive inquiry, rather than, let me call it appreciative inquiry, rather than inquisition. Who did
Hmm.
this? Who did that? It changes the dynamics. So let's use inquiry. Let's bring people out to play. Especially our children. Let's bring them out to play. Let them understand that. See, we are on the same boat. It's important. But beyond that too, people can go wrong. It's for us to take learning. So sometimes I try to guide my daughter with her homework. So she makes a mistake. I tell her, if you make that mistake the first time, it's not a problem. But if I correct you and you don't take that correction, you understand, and you come and make that mistake, then it becomes a problem. Because I discovered that she was afraid of making mistake. They are little children. They should make mistakes. And our role is
Hmm.
to correct them and provide. So we must learn to calm down. They are a gift from God. Calm down. And your
Hmm.
role as a steward is to guide them, provide guidance, you know, and
Hmm.
correct, discipline with love, and be their friend. I was telling my wife, I said, when a child finishes secondary school, he has literally left your home, because from there she's going to university. When she comes back, she go for service. If it's in Nigeria, then afterwards she's thinking of getting a job and getting married. The moment she's out of secondary school, there is no basis for deep bonding again. So you must be their friend at this early age, so that memories really, is what keeps them coming back to you over time. Oh, my dad is not just my dad. My dad is my friend. It's important, and we need to have that relation. And if you have that relationship with your children, let me tell you the benefits. It brings other children that are not having that kind of relationship. It brings them to you and gives you an opportunity to mentor them and expand
Hmm.
your circle of influence. Is important,
That's true.
because most
That's
children,
true.
their parents don't listen to them. So they need somebody that can understand them, that can connect with them. So parents, calm down, listen more, use appreciative inquiry, don't judge. And before you know it, you'll be able to deliver what you want your children to deliver. Thank you.
Hmm. Thank you so much, Mr. Kolade Dada. Parents should learn to calm down. Ah, that is a big one. Calm down. It's the word might look so little, so soft, but it's a great thing that if we can do it, we will get a lot from it. Learn to calm down. They are little children, they are meant to make mistakes, and we are supposed to guide them and not tell them, oh, you're supposed to know it. What happened that you're not knowing it? What is this? What is that? That's the way I do. Anyway, why is it that you don't know this thing? You're supposed to know it. Is it not what I just told you now? Those things, they should learn to calm down. They should not be afraid whenever they are with us. And that is the right one. Thank you so much, Mr. Kolade. This is where we be calling it a date on our today's program. I really appreciate you so much for the honor you've given to us. You know,
Welcome, ma'am.
you just honored us by coming online to impact all of us with your wisdom, with your knowledge, with your
Mm,
understanding. And we
mm,
greatly appreciate with your experience. And we greatly appreciate this. We don't take things for granted on this platform. Now we say a big thank you. Thank you and God bless you in return. These children,
amen.
you definitely reap fruits of your labor, your sacrifices over their lives never be in vain in Jesus' name. Thank you
Amen.
so much. To our viewers that have been able to come online this evening, we say a big thank you to all of you. To thank you. And this is, like I said, this is where we're calling it a date. Till we meet again next week, I remain my humble self and your loyal friend, Oluwatosin Oladimeji Ladipo. Till then, say bye, stay blessed,
Thank
and
you.
bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye.